right.
Housing is
A human right.
Shelter is
A human right.
Shelter is
A human right.
Emergency shelter system is housing of last resort. That means people have nowhere else to go. They will not magically find housing just because the state imposes new limits. The people who are pushed out will become homeless. They have nowhere but the street to go to. This policy is not only immoral, this policy is inhumane.
By limiting overflow shelter stays to 5 days only, we fear many families will be forced out of the safety of shelter spaces and into unsafe conditions such as the street, bus stations, and other settings unfit for human habitation. We've already seen families in our clinics being forced to stay in the streets in the last couple of years, prior to the overflow shelters being established, and most recently with the closing of Logan Airport. Families have shared how incredibly traumatizing it was to stay outside with their children. Unsheltered childhood homelessness exposes families to extreme weather conditions, hunger, unhygienic poor access to running water, violence, and abuse.
But we're letting it get out of hand with this 5-day shelter policy. It is unfair, and we know that it is causing families to make the decision to have no other choice really but to sleep on the street. And we know that if we care about our young people, if we care about stable education, there's nothing stable about sleeping at a T station. There's nothing stable about being outside. We are called to care for each other. Everyone always like, why are you running for office? My calling, our calling, whether you're in office or not, is to be each other's keeper, to be our neighbor's keeper. That's what the calling is. That's what Dr. King was all about. It wasn't about 5-day limits. It was about how are we looking out for each other.
Healey, feel the heat.
Keep the children off the streets.
Governor Healey, feel the heat.
Keep the children off the streets.
Governor Healey, feel the heat.
Keep the children off the streets.
You can stop this nightmare. And I'm saying to each one of us, we can stop this nightmare. And definitely, the governor can stop this nightmare. The legislators can stop this nightmare. So we cannot sit on our hands and hoping something will happen.